They say that professionalism is a fortress, a place where compassion meets boundaries, where doing the right thing doesn't always look or feel like kindness. I built my life within that fortress. I was the one who made impossible choices on behalf of people who no longer could. Elderly clients, injured, forgotten, or frail, entrusted to the care of the system, and to people like me. I found them beds, programs, therapies. I documented every decision. Every choice I made had a file attached, signed, timestamped, justified. Which is why, when my mother fell and broke her hip, I knew exactly what to do. I chose a placement with meticulous precision. Frost Pines Rehabilitation Center, East Wing, room 142. It wasn't ideal, aging boiler, spotty heating, but it was safe. The therapy program was rated above standard. The staff ratio met regulations. And most importantly, it was covered by her insurance. No favoritism. No special treatment. Just the same care I gave every other client. That was the story I told myself. But stories are funny things. They can wrap themselves around old wounds until even you start to believe the lie. I told Paul it was the best place for her recovery. He trusted me. He always had. Ever since we were kids, when he was too young to see the way she treated us differently. He believed she was strict, not cruel. Loving, but misunderstood. He hadn't stood on the porch in the dead of winter, too proud to knock, too ashamed to cry. He hadn't felt the cold seep into his bones while she pretended he didn't exist. That was always my punishment, banishment by inches. Silent dinners. Locked doors. Gaslight smiles. When I placed her at Frost Pines, I told myself I was doing my job. But deep down I knew the East Wing was cold. Not freezing. Not dangerous. Just uncomfortable. Just enough discomfort to mirror what I had endured. It was poetic in a way. Professional revenge, wrapped in paperwork. She noticed immediately. Her complaints began subtly. Comments to the nurses. Condensation photos shown during bingo. A few planted concerns in the ears of sympathetic residents. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. "You're good," she said. "You know how to walk right up to the line." And she wasn't wrong. The room met state requirements. I had records of robe deliveries, space heaters awaiting approval, thermal socks. Everything was documented. She had no grounds. But she didn't need grounds. She had Paul. And she had patience. Dylan Chun from Adult Protective Services will be visiting. She informed me one afternoon, sipping weak tea in the sunroom. Just a routine follow-up, I'm sure. Nothing for you to worry about. Dylan arrived with the polite detachment of a seasoned caseworker. His voice was calm, his manner unassuming. "This feels more like family drama than elder abuse," he said, but he made it clear he had to follow through. He would tour the facility, interview staff, examine conditions. I welcomed the oversight. Barbara Chen, the director of Frost Pines, was responsive and prepared. Yet I knew how these things worked. You didn't need a violation to cast suspicion. Just a narrative. And my mother was a master storyteller. As expected, her performance was impeccable. Lipstick, frailty, feigned humility. She placed herself by the coldest window, her robe discarded for effect. When Dylan arrived, she played the reluctant victim, downplaying concerns in a way that only heightened them. After Dylan left, Paul arrived, right on cue. Flowers in one hand, chocolates in the other. She clung to him, trembling. "Your sister found me this place," she said. "She says it's the best." Her eyes shone with martyrdom. Paul looked at me with the first flicker of doubt. I could see it. The chill in the room helped. She told stories about sacrifice, about making sure we were warm during broken heaters in our childhood. Lies wrapped in nostalgic ribbons. Paul remembered them fondly. Me? I remembered frostbite on my toes, excellent heating, private rooms. He didn't care about the rest. The activities were limited. The food was bad. The staff overwhelmed. But it was warm. That was the only metric that mattered to him. I knew Meadowbrook. I knew the lawsuits, the medication complaints. But Paul had stopped listening. He was convinced I had weaponized my role. Maybe I had. When I visited her there, I saw it all unfolding. Residents slumped in wheelchairs, sedated to compliance. My mother cataloged every fault with a quiet efficiency, already plotting her next move. But she didn't complain. Not openly. She let Paul discover the cracks himself. And he did. Slowly. One missed call button at a time. One mushy meal at a time. He called me unsure. Guilty. Frustrated. I gave him space to realize what I had known all along. That warmth isn't everything. Eventually, Paul came to my apartment. Defeated. I need help, he said. I filed the paperwork. Transferred her back to Frost Pines. The West Wing this time. Properly heated. Her old roommate Helen greeted her with joy. And Mother? She was gracious, almost satisfied. She had won. Turned Paul against me. Proved her point. But I had also won in a way. I had given her exactly what she needed. Proper care. Documented. Justified. Professional. As I watched her wave from the window of her warm new room, I realized what she had always known. Systems are easy to manipulate. And cold comfort is still comfort. In the end, all that mattered was the file was closed. And everything in it was perfectly in order. But even then, a new unease lingered. Not guilt, not exactly. Just the subtle recognition that my fortress, my professionalism, was no longer a place of safety. It was a mirror. And sometimes, when the light hit just right, I saw her face in mine. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe to Kindle Stories. What would you have done in her place? Was it justice or cruelty in disguise? We'd love to hear your thoughts. See you in the next story.